Hi, everybody. Finally. Can you all see me and hear me? Anybody? Anybody see me or hear me? This is crazy. This YouTube thing is driving me nuts. Anybody? 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 Hey, Victoria. Oh my gosh. Okay, good, good. Can you see me too? Yeah, see, you can hear me. I had to turn off my phone, turned it back on. It's telling me I'm live, but it's like the whole screen is blurred out. And then I see you all chatting, but I'm like, hello, can anybody hear me or see me? So this thing is telling me that it's backwards, which is so crazy to me. Hold on. Let me put it this way. Is that better? Now can you all see me? Oh my gosh. I don't know what is up with YouTube. I do it the same way every single time. Why is this thing acting crazy today? Awesome. No, I'm right side up. Good to hear. Hi, everybody. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, you can see me and hear me. Woo, sorry about that. It took a couple minutes to get going. Woo. Thank you for hanging on. Yeah, let's see. Audrey says it's better, but it's a small window. I know, because now my phone is vertically. I don't know why it didn't let me. Let me see if I can. Oh, and no, it says orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Oh, well. Well, let's go ahead and do it like this for now and see what happens. All right, so we're back. We are done with all the videos on view B. Okay, view B is the tank top with the facing. Did you all get a chance to watch those videos yet? I think this is one of my favorite ones that I've made so far. I know Evelyn says every live chat is an adventure. Indeed, when you're playing with technology and live, there's no guarantees of anything. I know, I bought this fabric. I want to say I bought it in LA last year, and I bought maybe 2 or 3 yards. And I envisioned something like this, right? Because those kind of watercolor flowers look so airy and kind of just like whatever. I wish I would have bought more. But then again, a year and a half ago, I had no idea I was going to have a shop and I was going to be selling all this stuff online. But don't hate on it. But I think I paid like $2 or $3 a yard for this fabric in LA. If you live near LA or you ever have a chance to go to the LA garment district, there's a store called Everything $1. And all the fabric in there is $1 a yard. And then there's a store right next to it. I don't know what the name of it is, but the one right next to Everything $1, everything is like, I mean, there's different prices, but they're like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 a yard for amazing stuff. I know Carla says she wants to go to LA. Let's go. We have to. I come out of there with garbage bags full of fabric, and I ship everything home, and it's still cheaper than what I would get. It's insanity. People say like New York Garment District. No, honey. LA is where it's at. Everything $1. Who was it that went? Somebody just recently went and sent me a message like, hey, can you tell me the name of the store in LA? And I gave her the name, and then she sent me a picture like, Sally, that's who it was. Sally Finger It. She was playing a show because she's a performer, and she was playing a show in LA, and she went into the store. It's crazy. So if you're ever near LA, in the fashion district, Carla says, we'll take the red-eye flights. Girl, yes. So how cute is this? I know Doreen says the New York City Garment District is not cheap. It is not. And you know, everybody wants to go to Mood because we know Mood from Project Runway. And you're just like, I have to go to Mood and buy something in Mood. Everything in Mood is pricey. I start off in the basement, which is the lower, I think there's 3 levels, the lower level. And that's where the knits are. Girl, a plain striped jersey knit, like stuff that I sell here, $15, $18 a yard. Yeah, it's rough. And it's kind of hit or miss into those little shops that you can go to in the city. But I love me some LA Fashion District, for sure, for sure. So this is the one that I did all the videos on, showing you how to make view B, which with the facing, okay? How many of you have watched those videos? If you want to make view A, the fully lined reversible one, or the dress, you're going to have to watch the first ones for view B, because a lot of the stuff that we're repeating throughout all the different views, I'm not going to say them again and go over everything again in the next videos when it's the exact same thing. So the videos that go up on Friday are sewing view A, which is the fully reversible one. And so what I decided to do with that, because I try to switch it up and teach you different things on top of teaching you the different views. So instead of just teaching you how to make the reversible one for view A, which is this one, look at the one I ended up making when I was filming the videos. It's this one. So this is one fabric. And we have this in the online shop. And then the second one is just the solid royal blue, which I believe is currently sold out now. So my fully reversible tank. Of course, all the wrinkles are going to show even more on the solid side, but there it is. Needs a good steam. So this is the one. So with this one, view A, you're going to learn a bunch of other things because, and I'll just show you the pattern pieces. Don't freak out. Don't get overwhelmed. You can do it. We are going to attack the lengthen and shorten line. So I show you how to lengthen or shorten it. It's a quick and easy hack, but I know for those of you that maybe are trying garment sewing for the first, second, or third time, like you're new to it, it's a lot to even just tackle the full bust adjustment, and then you feel like I want to add an extra inch or so, but I'm scared to cut right into it. So I go over that in the next video lessons where we're doing view A. So I add 1.5 inches to mine, okay? And so I'll show you how to do it to both pieces. And then I lengthened mine, but I also show you what you would do if you were to shorten it so both of you can see it. So some of you that might have shorter torsos or just more petite in stature anyways, if you want to shorten it, or maybe you make one for a kid in their size and you find that it's like a little too long or something, you'll at least have both techniques down and you'll know what to do. And even if you're not making it like that now, you know, the videos are always there for you. 6 months down the line, maybe you're trying to hack it into like a costume or something, and you need a similar tank top but crop top version, you'll know what you need to do to shorten it, okay? So that is what we're tackling in the next videos, and those will be posted, I believe, on Friday. This Friday? Yeah, and I think the next Wednesday, the videos on how to make the dress are posted. But you can't just jump right into one of them. I planned out the course in order. So I want you to make at least one sample of the view B one, this one, to tackle those techniques that are going to be new to you, okay? Even if you've sewn other clothes, chances are you're going to still be doing stuff that's different. Now, in the fully reversible one, on this one, we have some raw edges on the inside side seams because the facing doesn't reach all the way. So you can go in there, you know, and do a zigzag stitch or serge it or whatever. But on the fully lined and reversible tank, you don't have that. So you're also going to learn how to do French seams, which is a great finishing technique on lightweight wovens. So let me pop in here and show you. No raw edges, a fully encased French seam. And you can probably see it better on this one. This is the inside. This is the wrong side of the fabric. So that's what the seam looks like on the inside. There's no raw edges. Okay, and then on the outside, it's just a perfect seam. So you're going to learn how to do French seams. And this one, I think it's important to try view B first because the way that this gets sewn together, because it has to be reversible and doing French seam, I try to lay out everything in the video to show you exactly what to grab, to orient your pieces exactly the same way, because otherwise it's going to boggle your mind. You're going to be super confused and you can't visualize how it comes together. So make sure that those, you slow down, you hit the rewind button, and you do it alongside what you're doing until you see like, oh, now I get it. And then you'll be off and going, okay? Phyllis says the darts were new and took some time to learn. Everything we try, right, there's a little bit of a learning curve to everything we do. So yeah, so I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. It's perfect for football season here in Gator Country. Oh, look, orange and blue, orange and blue. Go Gators. So yeah. So that's the next one that we're tackling, okay? I've gotten some really good questions through the platform for the courses from some of the students. And so I've been replying to those as I can. And then I was hoping you guys had some questions for me today. Some of you were asking, I saw some questions in the Facebook group, like, I know she did the full bust adjustment, but I'm a size Y or something, and I wear a B cup. Do I have to do the full bust adjustment? No, right? Because the pattern is designed for a B cup. And I said, I've even done it without the full bust adjustment because my full bust adjustment is only a 1/2 inch, so it's not that much. So instead of sizing down and doing the full bust adjustment, if I stay where I'm at because there's so much ease in the pattern, I can typically get away with it. So if you're a B/C cup, try one first without the full bust adjustment. Don't rack your brain trying to create all this adjustment to just have a little 1/2 inch adjustment, okay? Just measure your full bust and make one at that size if you're in the B to C bust range, and try it out first and see. If you see that it's a little snug, but you could stand to have more room, a solution for you might just be to size up one and leave it like that without a full bust adjustment. Where you want to be doing the full bust adjustment is because typically if you have a bust that sticks out more than a B or C cup, then you want to adjust it so that it allows room in the bust area, but doesn't just extend the fabric out so that your bust is gonna push the fabric out and then you're gonna have a huge gap here at the underarm. So the dart makes it curve around your bust, but still allows that fabric to sit closer to your body. Okay, so there's so many different ways of making these adjustments. We're kind of going with like a simple formula by sizing down for every cup size that you are over a B cup, like I show you in detail in the video lessons, and then doing the full bust adjustment 1/2 inch for every size that you size down. Like those kind of things. It's not like a set rule for every garment that you're gonna make, but Jalie has told us, hey, this works for our pattern based on, you know, the amount of ease that they've included in the pattern design, okay? So let's see. Will you show us how to do these with a serger? Yeah, I'll share some tips with you, but for the view B, the one that has the facing, anywhere that you would sew a straight seam, you can run through it with your serger. So I will share some finishing techniques with you that will help you kind of preserve some of the length in the pattern. Instead of doing the narrow hem by turning it twice, you're eating up a little bit more fabric that way. Sometimes I'm trying to see if I have a top here where I've done it that way. Let me see. Hold on. Sometimes if I don't want to eat up too much of the length, I will just do a 3-thread rolled hem on the raw edge, okay, of the hemline, and then I just turn it under once and top stitch it. And that for me is plenty because then the raw edge doesn't fray. Once you start working with these fabrics, you'll see that the more you manipulate it as you're sewing darts, as you're doing this, turning it right side out, putting the shoulder straps in, the more you handle the fabric, the more those raw edges will fray. And it gets a little out of control, okay? But yeah, I'll do a little quick video on that. Maybe one day in one of the live chats, we can pop up the serger and do that. Because it's not really like a full lesson on that, but there's a lot of different options that you can use. And if you have a serger, the more you play with it, the more you'll have it in the back of your mind. And as you're working on projects, you'll think, oh yeah, I can whip out the serger here and do this real quick, okay? So let's see. So Victoria says, where should the dart lie exactly? So there is no exact placement for the dart. It just should have the darts going in the angle, like pointing towards the bust apex, but not all the way up here. So I've heard in different books and in different classes that it should be kind of like a 2-inch to 3-inch radius away. So still pointing in the same direction, pleating the fabric so that the bust part still is able to kind of be cupped kind of in that area because of the pleats at the darts that you're taking, but it doesn't have to be right there. It can come off the side this way. I've even seen people have shirts that come like this. Have a look. If you wear a lot of like woven garments that don't stretch, have a look at the darts where they are. So you can see that they come in all different shapes and sizes and pointing in different directions. You can have them really low, kind of going here at an angle, or they can come off the side. But anywhere in this kind of general area, pointing towards here is gonna work. So for those of you, I talked about that in one of the video lessons, that maybe angled your dart down too low to the point where the facing was like catching the dart, like it was that low. Bring it up more, okay? Bring it up to more of a 90-degree angle from where the bust apex is. All right, let's see. Let's see. Carla, I missed that. It says, and the straps fall off the shoulder. That's usually my problem. What are you talking about? Are you talking about these? Well, let me see. If you have on this garment, remember we have that added fabric insurance at the shoulder seam that they have us sew 1 1/4 inch so that you can play around with it. In the videos for view B, I try it on and show you the difference after I drop it down a little bit. If they're too loose and they tend to come off your shoulder, you may want to adjust that seam that you're sewing right there at the shoulder seam. I even know people whose shoulders really slope down, so instead of sewing a straight seam across, they kind of angle it so it cups their body a little bit more. You have to remember, these pattern pieces are simply templates. The more you hack and franken pattern your things together, you will start over time as you create your own clothes to develop kind of your own set of rules of like, oh, I'm gonna change this up because I know that I like my shoulder straps this wide, or I have one shoulder higher than the other. A lot of people that have scoliosis will find that one shoulder strap fits like snug and the other one tends to fall off. Well, it's your garment. You can adjust it accordingly. Make that seam a little bit tighter at the shoulder so it stays on, even if it's off. Very rarely are we perfectly symmetrical along both sides of our body. So the joy of making your own clothes, and I guess the frustration too, as you start figuring these things out, is that just because you sew and you're like, I sewed an accurate seam, I made it perfect. Well, it might not be in your sewing or the fabric, it might be your body that's just a little bit off symmetry. And that's fine, right? Just adjust it till you see that it fits and works for you. All right, Evelyn says, in the recent videos, you use different stitch lengths. How do we know the proper stitch lengths as we construct the garment? So this is a great question. And this tends to come with time or with following enough patterns and instructions till you kind of get it like, oh, I see. So stitch length, the smaller the stitch, the tinier the stitch, right? The harder it's gonna be for it to come out, the harder it's going to be for you to grab a seam ripper and take those stitches out. The more it's gonna be held together, more secured. And what else was I gonna say? And the more it might pucker a lightweight fabric because there's way so much stitching and so much thread bulk buildup in such a small area. So when we're constructing side seams, shoulder seams, bags, little pouches, anything for construction seams, the standard is typically about 2 millimeter to 2.5 millimeter length, okay? That's short enough to hold, but not short enough that we won't be able to take out the stitches if we have to. When you have a longer stitch length, 3 millimeters, I like to use for top stitching because I can see the stitches a little bit better on the pretty side of the garment. And another reason is that it's not that tight, so it's not gonna pucker along a wavy edge that's been cut on the bias like a hem. If I do a super, super short stitch here, not only is it gonna take me forever to stitch, but I'm gonna be adding so much more thread bulk into a light and flowy hem. I don't want that. I want the stitches to show, okay, like that, and that it still keeps it pretty flat for me. So when I go to press it, I don't have all this fabric kind of bunched up because the stitches were so tiny. Okay, so typically for construction seams, 2 millimeter to 2.5. That works fine. At the dart, you see what I do, that I start off regular 2 to 2.5 or whatever, and then when we get to that 1/2 inch away from the dart, I shorten the stitch length so that we don't then have to go in and tie a knot and bury the threads and do all this stuff. The teensy tiny 1 millimeter stitch is gonna be so small that it's almost like if you were back stitching, but you're not building up the thread like you would on a back stitch, okay? But those stitches are not gonna come apart in the wash because they are so tiny. So think about that. Think about the seam that you're sewing. Do I want this to not ever come apart? Is the fabric too lightweight that this might add too much bulk? Is this the top stitching that is gonna be shown on the exterior of the garment? So those are all things to consider. And that, you know, over time, the more garments you make, the more you kind of will figure out what works and what doesn't for certain applications. When you're starting off, don't start doing everything with super tiny stitches because you're probably gonna make mistakes, because all of us do it, even those of us that have a lot of sewing experience, and you do not wanna sit there with 1.5 millimeter stitches and have to pull them out. It's a nightmare, okay? So hopefully that gives you a little something, but I tried to say it like in the videos as we're using that stitch length, I'll tell you like why. So you can start kind of maybe taking some notes on that, putting it aside so that you can consider it in your future projects, okay? Lisa says, I had a hard time ironing the seams, really on the straps. The fold wouldn't flatten as much as I liked. I'm not sure if my iron would be hotter or maybe a clapper would help. The clapper is a game changer for sure. If you have steam, use that and a clapper. That's gonna change your life. And then use my ruler trick, my scissor trick, where I insert scissors. If you can have blunt, cheap ones, that's even better. That way you don't run the risk of snipping into your actual garment, but I slip it in the shoulder and just open it so that it extends and pushes those side seams out on the edge of the blades, and then I hit it with the steam of the iron, okay? Jill's asking where to buy the clapper. So I think on the course page, I've already included it there. I buy my clappers from Angela Wolf. She sells them on her website. She has the mini clapper. The mini clapper is the one that you see me use in the video lessons. And then I have a slightly longer one that I use in my home studio. And she sells them there. And there's a coupon code for 15% off for my fans specifically. So I included the coupon code there for you. I think it's like Crafty Gemini 15. And that will give you 15% off anything on her website. So if you're going to get a clapper, I mean, it's a hunk of wood. So even just the weight of it and the shipping and stuff can be pricey. So definitely check out that coupon code. But it's included there on the course page for the tank top. I'm pretty sure I added it. If I didn't, then I'll add it tonight. But I'm pretty sure it's there. Where I include all the other links for the different things that we feature and stuff. You can check it out there. Okay, PH says, I haven't made too many tops, but where do we stand on stay stitching the neck? I didn't see any during the video. So on this one, I don't. It's a lightweight woven, and I do mention several times in the video lessons not to stretch or distort the fabric out. If you tend to be a little bit rough with the fabric and you find that you're always stretching it, then you can feel free to stay stitch on the individual pieces. And for those of you that don't know what stay stitching is, it's like if this was after you cut out your pattern pieces, you can go in with like a 2.5 or 3 millimeter length and just stitch 1/8 of an inch in just here and here. Kind of like a baby V at that slight V-neck, just to help keep that from stretching out of place, okay? Before you go in for the stitching of the exterior piece to the facing or to the lining piece. So you can just stay stitch, which is just stitching through one layer. You're not sewing anything when you stay stitch. You can just stitch really close to the raw edge there to help secure that so that you don't start distorting it out of place. But I find that it's not really necessary because as soon as we cut the pieces, right there, you can just boom, pin them together, and that's the first seam that you're sewing. So it's not like the neckline part ends up getting done 4 or 5 steps over. If it was like that, then I would probably stay stitch because again, the more you handle the fabric, the more you're gonna be stretching and distorting the fabric. And along a grain line with slight curves like that, that's almost biased edges, so it can easily distort if you're not dainty with your fingertips as you handle the fabric, which that took me a long time because I'm so rough with everything that when I first started sewing with stretch knits, I literally only used these 3 fingers on both hands. And I had to keep reminding myself, fingertips, only fingertips, because for me, it's like, I want to stretch and yank everything, but I've gotten better over the years. Oh, Carla says that's why she needs the FBA for her narrow shoulders. So see how I was saying that you maybe if you were a B or C cup, you could stand to go up a size. But remember what I said, that if you don't do the full bust adjustment, and even though it fits you in the bust, if it's gapping here, that means that the high bust area is too big for you. So that's why we size down, because just because you have a G cup bra does not mean that you're like 50 inches up top here to go with the G. Do you know what I mean? I know people that are 34 G. So you cannot put a person that has a 34-inch high bust into a top that is 40-something inches up here. They're gonna be swimming in it. Shoulder straps are gonna fall. You're gonna see the side of the bra on the side. So we want to adjust just the bust area. So that's why we size down and then make the full bust adjustment to accommodate just the larger bust. Just because you have a larger bust does not mean that your your high bust area is the same size as the bust, right? It's just at the actual bust line. So Carla says that that's why she does the full bust adjustment too, because otherwise she has narrow shoulders, she's just larger busted. So you have to, it's a great adjustment to make to help accommodate those of us with that situation. Diana says she had to lop off 3.5 inches from the straps. Wow. Do you like the fit now, how it fits? Which is cool because that way you have some extra there. And that, if you take off that much, you know, the neckline is going to be higher up. So for those of you, some of you that have been asking about hiring the neckline, that's also one way. But of course, don't just do it without knowing if you are shorter in that area that you can do that. That's what everybody's body is different. When we give you rules to follow, they're all just kind of rules of thumb. If you find something that works better for you, don't think like, well, I'm going to bypass that even though that fits me really good because I need to follow this rule. There are no, you know, there's few like hardcore rules in pattern drafting. Like when I tell you to lengthen and shorten the line, I do tell you, yes, you have to draw the line so it is perpendicular to the center front. That has to be straight across. And if you try to just eyeball it, it's going to be wrong because the hemline kind of goes up this way. So you don't measure off the slanted side edge. We want it to be perfectly 90-degree angle off of the center fold line, okay? So things like that, yes, you follow because they only make sense once you start making it. If you didn't follow that and you made the cut, you would see that the 2 pieces would be kind of lopsided because it wouldn't be guaranteed to fall and still hang on grain on your body, okay? Doreen says, do you iron and or starch the fabric before you cut into it? So on a lightweight woven, I don't starch. I just steam it and press it. After it's been washed or whatever and it's wrinkled, I just steam press it. I don't add any starch to it. It's so flowy that by the time I added all the starch, it would crisp it up. It's still super flowy. I mean, you'd really, to make it be stiff, like how we would use the starch in a quilting cotton, you would really have to drench it in starch and press it really, really good to get it to stop from being flowy on you. And I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, Carla says the Clapper coupon is there. So check it out on the main course page towards the top where I list like the fabric and like different things there. The Clapper information is there with the coupon code for those of you that want to get one. Okay. The shoulder strap on the back pattern piece is thinner than the front and it isn't lined up perfect. It isn't bad, but it could be better. That sounds fine. You know, if you are someone who has a hard time putting in the shoulder strap into the other one thing that I find helps, and it only applies to certain fabrics. Some of them I can just slip them right in and I have no problem. But other ones, like when you're putting it in, if it stays rolled on you, you can also trim away some of the excess seam allowance and that will make it narrower, but not narrower at the seam. It's still gonna be sewn with the proper seam allowance. You would just shave off a little bit of the actual seam allowance, and sometimes that allows it to go in better on a lightweight woven that's a little bit thicker sometimes. So it is important to have the right seam allowance on those shoulder straps, because otherwise if one is too tight and the other one is too open, you won't be able to fit that one in it. You'd have to swap them and put the narrower straps inside the part that has the wider ones. If you haven't watched the videos, that makes no sense to you. But if you did, then you probably understand what I'm saying. So Kat is asking how hot of an iron for rayon fabric. So it's gonna depend on the rayon fabric. There is some rayon fabric that you'll find out there that will tell you dry clean only. Yeah, I ain't messing with it. So what I do is I put it on the hottest setting and my iron gets really, really hot and I steam it. So you didn't hear this from me, but if you don't pre-wash your fabric, that's one way to check it to see if it's really gonna shrink a lot on you after you wash it, is by hitting it with a lot of steam and heat. Because remember, when you add heat and moisture, that's when you can pre-shrink the stuff. Like that's where you'll see. And if it starts to shrink before your eyes, then hold on a minute. You may not wanna wash this in hot and set it in a hot dryer, okay? But I just steam press everything and I just don't leave the iron on it for too long. But it does originally come from a natural fiber. It's made from wood pulp. So it can stand a little bit more heat than, say, a lightweight polyester. A lightweight polyester, I would not be able to hit it with my iron at the highest setting. No. I would pick it up. It would be brown. Half of it would be stuck to my iron. It would be a hot mess. All right? Let's see. Diana says, I'm going to make another one and try the FBA. Try it. I mean, all you're doing, and if you buy some cheap tissue paper, it's daunting at first because you're thinking, oh, the math, the angles, but follow it step by step and then you'll be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. All right, PH, I don't know whose name that is, but they're asking, for a muslin fitting, is there a cheaper fabric that will behave like the rayon challis? So you can probably find some polyester lightweight wovens that will behave like the rayon challis, but I don't know if they're gonna be that much more cheaper unless you got them on clearance. I've seen people saying this week that they've been getting fabric at Joann's for like a penny a yard. I don't know what's going on, but apparently they put their clearance fabric on a penny a yard. Let me ask Carla, the Joann's coupon expert. Carla, have you seen this? Because I've seen people in different groups saying like, oh, I got 50 yards of fabric for 50 cents or something crazy. Anybody? Yes, Carla says yes. So check out your local Joann's if you live in the United States and see if they have something that behaves the same that is a penny. That's kind of crazy. A penny a yard, really? Clearly they're just doing that to get rid of inventory because that is absolutely insane. Something like that. Then I got an email from a student who was asking how about actual muslin. So muslin is kind of like this see-through 100% cotton that just looks like very lightweight woven. Okay, it's not lightweight like the rayon challis with that much drape, but it's light in the weave, like one step down lighter than quilting cotton. So, and you can get it really cheap, like $1.49 a yard. So for those of you that maybe just have like one fabric and it's like the fabric that you want to make the ultimate one out of, I would say you could probably get away from making a muslin out of muslin, but understanding that it's not going to drape like the rayon challis. I would do it, but only to kind of see the fit in this area and of course do the full bust adjustment to it. So if you're doing the full bust adjustment, it's still gonna help it kind of cup in the area of the bust line so you can see how it's gonna fit. But from there down, I mean, it's gonna be like A-line sticking out super stiff because it's not as drapey as the rayon challis, but it's worth a shot for $3. If that's you and you're on a tight budget and you don't really have a lot of money to just be buying all these expensive fabrics to chop up, give it a try. Give it a try. Oh, Audrey says that in Ontario, that's not what they sell as muslin. It's a heavier, oh my gosh, muslin there is heavier than a quilting cotton. Then that's not what you want to use. If it's lighter than a quilting cotton, then I would give it a go. If you find, say, like cotton lawn for super cheap, like just like a solid color or whatever, like a thin muslin like that, try it. Just to kind of walk through the steps of making the garment, making the full bust adjustments, sewing the darts. But know that it's not going to drape like the true rayon challis would, okay? But that is an option. Let's see. Oh, Carla says that you had to buy regular price together and then the same for a penny a yard. It was for the weekend only. Oh, she says, and the fabric was yucky. Oh my gosh, Audrey says that in Canada, it's like that muslin that she was talking about that's thicker than the quilting cotton is like $14 a yard. Girl, no, that is not an affordable option for you, okay? So Carla's saying poplin is usually cheap, but no drape. And depends on the manufacturer, but sometimes those cotton poplins are still 100% cotton. They can be like a touch lighter than the quilting cotton or like right about the same weight. It's not going to drape the same, but you can find some lightweight woven. So if that's you and you're thinking, what else can I use? I would say if you can't find something that drapes like the rayon challis, go with a lightweight something. And a cotton would be great to start with because that way you can practice the pressing with the heat and the steam and you won't, completely scorch the fabric like if you were using a cheap polyester. So it's kind of a good way to walk through the steps before you tackle it in the real one, okay? All right. Okay, so that is that. The next one is the fully reversible one. And this is another reason why I have you all start off with view B because the facing is shorter, right? I want you to practice this one first before you tackle this, even though I know some of you are like, I'm just waiting for the dress or I'm just waiting for this. This stuff takes practice. It's not just that easy to just do whatever. Because this one, you have two pieces, the inside and the outside. The hems have to be pretty much identical for you not to wear it on one side and have like a longer chunk of the lining sticking out, okay? For me, if I'm wearing the orange side and you see the peak of blue, it's not a big deal. But if I'm wearing the blue solid side out, don't nobody really want to see a huge thing of orange creeping out, and that way you can see that it's like an uneven hem. You know what I mean? I mean, it looks like that now because it's draped over my body. But the idea is that you try to get these as close to the exact length as possible. And that's hard to do even after you have several under your belt. So there's no way that you're going to just jump into it, make this, and have those hems be perfect. So just know that. You don't want to listen to me and try view B first. Know what you're getting yourself into for view A, okay? All right. Victoria's asking, is there anything that we can use in lieu of a tailor's clapper? So the tailor's clapper is just a big hunk of wood. Let me grab it. This is it. And this is the baby one, the mini clapper from Angela Wolf. That's where I get mine at. Now, a lot of people I know have been like, oh, I see the tailor's clapper. My husband has a workshop or whatever. Let me tell him to make me one. So there's people out there who like, if you do woodworking, a chunk of hardwood. That's all you need. So if you have like a block of hardwood, just use it. It doesn't have to be, I mean, of course, if it's just like all splintery and stuff, you're going to mess your hands up. But if you can get it sand down nicely, that's it. That's all it is. This is the one I get from Angela. This is one that Laura gave me for the shop. This is a different one. You might see it look like this. And this is like for pressing side seam, like collars and like little pointy things that you can do here that you can drape over so that you have a hard surface to press against for really specific, smaller detailed areas. But the idea is the same. I hold it by here, and the bottom you can see that it's similar shape. And hers is about this size. The bigger one that Angela sells is the same. It doesn't matter how wide, how long, how tall. It doesn't matter. All you do is all you need is a wide enough area that will cover whatever the seam is that you're trying to press. It's genius. It really is. Tailors have been using it forever and a day. All right. Audrey says she just uses a block of wood instead of a clapper. It's the same thing. A block of wood is a clapper, girl. Yep, so just hardwood. Okay. Mossy is asking, where can I buy fabric online? I live in the middle of nowhere. So we have some rayon challis solids and some prints in our online shop at craftygemini.com/shop. Other than that, I mean, you can buy rayon challis pretty much anywhere. You just have to see like what the width is and see if they have, some websites have a lot of fabrics, but they don't really give you information on the fabric itself. So I would hate for you to get something that says, it's supposed to be dry clean only, and they just put a picture of it and you don't really know. Or this happens a lot too, where they'll say like lightweight, and then you get it and you're like, this is not lightweight, So let me think, because now I buy all my own fabrics. So I'm trying to think. Fabric Mart, fabrics, fabric.com. There's like different places like that. I would do a search for the fabric that you're looking for and then see what online shops it's taking you to get them delivered. Because even, fabric.com is owned by Amazon. So whatever, and usually you can find a lot of the stuff on fabric.com. You can find it on Amazon itself. So those are a couple different options. So Kat says, I have noticed when you sew, you're using the end of your presser foot to follow for whatever seam, 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch. Are you moving the needle? So you said the end of the presser foot. So I'm using the side of the presser foot as my guide. Yes, I am moving the needle position. So on my machine, I can press one button and it sets it to 1/4 inch. When I press another button, it moves it to the center needle position. And I know that on my machine, the center needle position is exactly 3/8 of an inch away from the edge of the presser foot. So if I press one, I'm working with 3/8. If I press number 3 on my machine, it scoots the needle over. So now it's a 1/4 inch away from the edge of my presser foot. So that's how I do it on mine. If your machine is not computerized and maybe it's just mechanical, you'll need to determine where on that metal throat plate or plastic throat plate of your machine you need to be using, okay, to follow to get the specific seam allowances that you need to follow. But if your machine allows you to adjust stitch width, then if you have it on a straight stitch setting, you can move the stitch width. And some machines, when you adjust the width on a straight stitch, because remember, a straight stitch is just in line, there is no width that you're adjusting like you would on a zigzag. But some machines, when you adjust the width dial and it's set to straight stitch, it will move the needle position either to the left or to the right. And it's still gonna do a straight stitch. It's just that by adjusting the width, it scoots over the needle position. So you can do that too. And again, still use the edge of your presser foot as the guide. Okay. K Solar is asking, is Missouri Star good? Missouri Star is not going to have fashion fabrics for clothes. They sell quilting cottons and some other fabrics that people use in quilts and projects like that. Last I checked, they don't sell clothes fabric. So for fabric for this tank top, you won't be able to find it there. Joanne is asking, do you have bubble crepe? Also the thread recommended, do you carry that online? So we do have bubble crepe. It's not made its way to the website yet. And the thread, I haven't been able to post it yet because we have like 50 colors, but only like 2 spools of each color. So that's the other situation with like the cotton thread and the polyester thread, to figure out how to list it on the website so people can choose from a list of what you can get. So that's something that we're working on. And let me write this down because my employee is coming in on Friday to see if she can come up with a way to list that. Of what would make more sense, so it's not such a huge mission for you to be trying to scroll through colors to figure out which color you want. Okay? All right. Lisa's asking, does rayon challis go by any other names? I had no luck finding that specific name at Joann's. I ended up with a chiffon and a georgette. Joann's, it's rare that I find a rayon challis at Joann's. Carla would know. Carla, have you found any rayon challis at Joann's? That's usually what it's called under, rayon challis or viscose. I wonder if it's called viscose challis. I've never seen it like that. But sometimes when there's blends of fibers, they'll say viscose. And it's a rayon, So I'm not sure if they carry that. Oh, Carla says they have a few, but you have to dig through that stuff because the people at Joann's hardly ever know, what you're looking for specifically for fashion fabrics. So it can be tough. If you live in South Florida, you can meet up with Carla there and she'll point out everything for you. She's a Joann's queen. All right. Karen's asking, how much does a clapper cost? That clapper is not cheap. It's like $20-something. Yeah, It's like 20 something dollars. But you just type in Taylor's Clapper on Amazon too. I'm sure you can find some. Alicia says she bought a lot of rayon challis at Hearts Fabric in California, and she gets beautiful fabric. It comes in less than a week. Good to know. Jill is asking, can I make this one on the Juki 2010Q? So for those that don't know, the Juki 2010Q is a semi-industrial, only straight stitch sewing machine. And yes, you can make it just on that. More so the one with the reversible, because you have no raw edges or anything, so you don't even have edges that you need to finish when you make it fully lined and reversible. So this was all straight stitch. But even so, the view B with the facing, you still end up with some raw edges on the inside that you can go back and finish, on a different machine that has a zigzag stitch or a serger on the sides, because you do end up with the part that's not tacked down to the facing. You still have raw edges in this area. I don't care too much. It doesn't come down far enough to stick out past the hem. So I really don't care what's going on along the side seams. It's so loose fitting that I don't even feel it. So if you have a zigzag machine, that's where you would use it. But as far as the construction and making it, only straight stitch. All right. Carla says, yes, that's good. Oh, okay, so she's gonna try it out. Lisa says she's gonna try it out with, what did she say she got? A chiffon and a georgette. Those are great. Those are great fabrics to use too. I do have the bubble crepe though. And some of those like chiffons and stuff are really lightweight, but some of them can also be sheer. So you just have to be mindful of what you're lining it with underneath. If it's some of the bubble crepes that I have, and I'll show you. Some of these, you can see that the design on them have black. So what happens is, even in this pale pink with flamingos, is that because the flamingos are outlined in black, if I lined the tank top out of, like if I made the tank top out of these pink flamingos and lined it in the same fabric, in the plain pink areas where the flamingos would show up from the underneath facing layer, you would see the outline like that. So for something like this, it'd probably be best to have a solid rayon challis underneath for the facing, so that you would still see the cute fabric on the exterior, but you wouldn't see those black outlines. Like, look at these stars. You see how you can see the other muted stars underneath in the fabric layer that's underneath it? That's how it would show up in the bust area, because you'd still have the same fabric for the facing. But we got this polka dotted one in, and then we have the flamingos in blue and some ladybugs in blue. So yeah. That's the thing with these more lightweights and the chiffons. Some of them are similar to that. But if it's a really busy print, go for it, because then everything would blend in a little bit more. Okay, Carla says she's drooling over the fabric. So that is the situation for that you have to, think about. Okay. All right. So looks like a lot of people have been trying their hand in that full bust adjustment, giving it a go. And, draft it once, draft it twice. Again, if your dart comes out that it's too low, bring it, make the cut closer up this way so that the facing doesn't eat up into your dart, okay? And then look forward to the reversible one, because I'm going to show you how to lengthen and shorten, how to do French seams, and how to make it fully reversible. You have to think about a few things too, which I stop and I show you in the video, like the way that you're lining up the pieces, like the front piece to its own lining piece, not like one of the orange and one of the blue for me, like different things like that. So to get the most out of this class, I would say you have to watch all the videos. Even though there's 3 views, if you just want to make one view, you're going to miss out on a ton of information if you don't watch all of them. Okay, because there's stuff that you use in view B that are going to carry over to view A that will then carry over to view C. But then each one of those views still has its own individual skills and techniques. So really, you have to watch all the videos. And for those of you that don't need to do the full bust adjustment, watch those videos anyway. Because if you're going to make this for anybody else, it's great to just know the process. Okay. So cute, cute, cute. My funky little orange print. It has blueberries and blue strawberries. It's so crazy looking, but it's fun. So this is the one, the same. These I made at the same size that I made the watercolor one. So for me was the size Y. So I sized down 1. and then did a 1/2 inch bust, full bust adjustment. But you can see, and let me see. This one, remember, is the one that I'm going to show you the lengthen and shorten line. So I added 1.5 inches to the length of this. So I had a little more wiggle room at the hem. So I made a slightly wider hem. Let me see. You can't hardly see it like this. I'd have to put it on the hanger. Maybe you can. It doesn't look like it there. But the orange is about 1 inch longer than the lighter colored floral one. All right. Evelyn is asking, is the dress view lined as well like view B? So the dress is lined, but only in the bodice area. The skirt and where the bodice connects to the skirt is not, the seam is not encased. And then the skirt part is just one layer. So it is fully lined, but only in the bodice area, okay? So it's kind of like the one with the facing, except it extends down into a dress. Doreen says, I'm going to try one first without the FBA. Go for it. Every time you make one of these, no matter what techniques you're using, what steps, full bust adjustment or not, you're going to be learning so much every single time you make one of these. Even if you just make one, even out of like a quilting cotton for a little kid, less than a yard of fabric, go for it, okay? As you walk through the steps, you'll start to learn so much. So when you get to doing it out of your good fabric, you'll feel a little bit more confident and not as hesitant to cut into it. Lisa says, I'm learning so much. Thank you. I made a size H for my 4-year-old. Next is mine to match. Can't wait to do the dress. That's perfect. That is the greatest way to start. And another reason why I love these Jalie patterns, because you can make it lesser yardage, a little less daunting, no perfection required, and a little kid could still wear it. So you make one and then you're like, oh, I know how this comes together. Now let me make one for myself. And that's oftentimes what I do, even when I'm trying a new pattern to see if I want to teach a class on it or just to kind of wrap my head around the construction steps. Totally doable. And you're welcome. I'm glad you're learning so much, Lisa. Kat says, I'm going to make mine when I learn the next step in lengthening it. I feel it's too short for me. Perfect. You can totally do that. Dory said, or 14 Dory says, in my area, I could only find rayon, not rayon challis. Also, stores have cute printed fine gauze fabric. So sometimes the fabric is rayon challis and it will just say 100% rayon because it is 100% rayon. So if you're buying online, you want to look for more descriptive terms as far as like maybe the weight, the drape. Sometimes they'll share pictures, like say it's a print and they'll put you a picture of it flat, but then they'll do a picture where the fabric is like draped over something, or they'll do this little twisty thing and drop it like that. And if you see that the fabric is drapey looking like that, then chances are it's probably a rayon challis. But a lot of times, again, they're listing these fabrics so quickly on a website that they don't go into all the details, okay? But yeah, rayon challis is 100% rayon. So sometimes when it's listed like that, it could be, even though it doesn't say it. My granddaughter's only 5 months. She needs to grow, Doreen says, so she can make one for her first and try it. Carla says, I'm enjoying the classes for sure. Great to hear it. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Doreen says, what did Doreen say here? Yes, I love all your classes. I've learned so much. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm so glad to hear it. Catherine says, I really wanted to make the reversible version. Now I'm a little afraid, and I think I'll have to start with view B. I'm telling you, girl, start with view B. You'll gain a little bit more confidence. Guaranteed. And it uses less yardage, okay? I would hate for you to cut into 2 very special fabrics and then wreck it. Especially when you get to the end and you're hemming it and it's not exact. Yeah, I don't want you to come back and scream at me, because let it be known to everybody, I told y'all to start with view B. It's just easier. You want to start with easy to familiarize yourself with the construction steps, okay? Phyllis says, yes, I feel it's too short also, and I will make the next one longer. Perfect. Victoria says, can you do a reversible view A with an FBA? So are you asking if you did you're saying like if you did a full bust adjustment on the front and back so that you can use one fabric here and one fabric here? I will tell you what happens, because I tried this one on backwards. So if you, and I go through this in the video lessons for this one. is telling you to make sure, like if you did an FBA, grab the pieces of the FBA. If you do an FBA to front and back, you're gonna have pleats, right? The FBA on the back where there is no bust. So what's gonna happen? You have allotted more fabric in the back that is not gonna get taken up or pushed forward because there's no bust there. So what you end up getting is a hem on the back that hangs lower. If the full bust adjustment is not that big, I don't know that it's super noticeable. We probably walk around with clothes that we bought in the store that look like that anyway, but maybe just don't have an actual dart. So if you do the FBA, and I did it on this one and the blue, because it's like the lining piece to the front, those two have FBAs, okay? But the back pieces do not. So I would say, typically you wouldn't, but I think you might be able to pull it off if the full bust adjustment is not huge. If it's like 1/2 inch, maybe even 1 inch. Because I put it on backwards and I can see the one fabric that was in the lining sticking out longer past the back because there's more room there and there's nothing pushing it out to make it the same length, okay? So maybe is the answer to that. Carla says she lengthens hers 2 inches, which is a great amount. I did 1.5. I could probably stand to go 2 inches too. Karen says, or she's asking, are you getting any more batik rayon challis like I bought when I was there? Girl, that, the batik rayon challis. You mean like that tie-dye one? That thing sold out. I had a lady come into the store and bought 10 yards. And I had just gotten that new bolt in. I was like, whoa, that's gone. And they're all sold out. I had bought one more bolt because that's all that my supplier had. So unfortunately of that one, no. If they do come up with more, then I'll snag it for sure. All right. Catherine says, okay, you convinced me. I'm telling you, start with VOB. Even though I've made tops in the past, Sheila says, I'm learning a lot from you. Thanks so much, Vanessa. Well, I'm so glad to hear it. And it's funny because people think I'm crazy when they're like 32 videos. Why would you post 32 videos for a raglan t-shirt? And it's like, there is so much information. Sure, I could do these videos in like 3 videos and just be like, sew this together, do this, do that, do this, do that. But you're not really understanding the why you're doing these things, right? And I don't like that. It's just like, you're just following along. That's not how I like to teach. I want you to understand what you're doing so that you can then replicate it, change it up, and do other stuff, you know, for future projects, not just like this kind of a vision. Like, I can only make the Jalie Michelle 3911 tank top because that's the only one I know how to make. Don't ask me how I do it. I just follow the videos. I would hate for that to happen. I want you to take the skills and techniques and apply them to future projects, which I've seen so many of you do who have done, you know, from the Westchester Dolman top to the Charlie bomber jacket. Are you kidding me? People that have never sewn a garment before in their life, putting in welt pockets and a jacket zipper? Hello. And then they're often doing other things because they're like, oh, I learned how to do that in this class. I can make this jacket, but I can also know how to do this and that and this and that, okay? Kat says, I love every one of the videos. I learned so much. I love the way you explain everything. It's funny because like, sometimes I feel like I do talk too much, but I can't hold myself back because I'm like, no, but I have to give this information. So that's why I do the paid courses, because then I'm not limited. Like, I can just make as many more videos as I want to add in there as long as you're getting the information. And so, yeah, I mean, I could teach the videos in 2 or 3 videos and just be like, sew the facing to the body, insert the strap in the shoulder strap, sew the side seams, and hem it. I mean, literally, that's what it all boils down to if you're making view B. Is that crazy or what? That I could just, I mean, less than a paragraph of instruction. Sure I could, but no, it's not that fun. Keep doing you, girl. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm glad y'all are enjoying my style of teaching. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Today has been a crazy day. My husband, I guess, stepped wrong or something, but he has like a stress fracture in his foot. And the guy can't even walk. And I have been prepping for a trip I'm taking on Sunday for a week. And it's a secret project, but I'll let you in on who it's with at least so you all can be looking out for it. So Blueprint, formerly known as Craftsy, has hired me to do some videos for them. And I'm flying to Colorado on Sunday for a week of filming for this huge video shoot. Yeah. And now my husband can't walk. So I've been doing all the farm chores, all of his chores, filming the video lessons that can post, so I can post them while I'm gone, doing all the things. And this guy is sitting on the couch with his feet up because he can't walk, poor thing. So we shall see. I will let you in on more detail. Well, I can't really share details, but they kind of gave me like a little list of what I can and can't say. So as I travel on Sunday, I will be posting stuff on social media. I'll be headed to Colorado. And yeah, I'll be there an entire week. But you can still hit me up on email, anything customer service wise or stuff with your orders and stuff. You can email b@craftygemini.com. Now we have a couple different people answering those emails, so we have more help with that, since it seems like we're always behind on emails. But yeah, so that is what I'm doing. It's like a secret project with Blueprint. And I've just been prepping all the stuff, all the step outs. And you got to have like different steps as you're teaching, because it's an entire day of filming for each thing that we're going to do. Madness. All right. Jill says she used to live there. Yeah. Hopefully it's cooler than it is here. Maybe not. It's summer, but it's probably dry heat. It's not as humid here. Like here, I step outside. It's been raining all day. My feet were soaked walking, just getting to my house, because I have to open the front gate. So I'm like stepping in disgusting puddles, and there's no way around it. It's just like, there are the puddles, and now you have to step in them because it's been raining all day and all night. Okay. Karen says I had a stress fracture in my foot and had to have a cast on for 6 weeks. Girl, don't tell me that, because he's supposed to be flying. You heard that right. Flying on an airplane with my children Thursday. Today's what, Tuesday night? Yeah. In like a day and a half, he's supposed to drive 2 hours to the airport, get on a plane, elevation 35,000 feet. Yeah, his foot is going to explode on the plane. And then drop my kids off to his parents in Arkansas and turn around and catch the next flight home. I don't know how he's going to do that, since he's crawling to the bathroom at the moment. So we shall see how this works out. It's always something, never a dull day. It's crazy. So like I had to stop working here, go home, make dinner, take him the stuff that he needed. I literally, this is where the parenting moments kick in, y'all. My 7-year-old daughter prepared lunch for them today. Rice, beans, steak, and salad. You heard that right. I love that I have taught my children to cook, because I was like, I cannot drive home just to make y'all lunch, and he couldn't get up to even prepare anything. And we live in the boonies, so was nobody gonna deliver not even a pizza out there? So I was like, Allie, you're in charge. Make everybody lunch and a salad. She cooked the whole thing. Listen, and I'm looking at him like, you're welcome that I've trained up these 2 little minions who can do all the things, okay? 7 years old. And then she was like, Mama, they said it was great, that it was just like how you make it. I was like, good, thank you. And then of course they left me a dish or a sink full of dishes for me to wash when I got home. So Allie saved the day, and I was thankful. They didn't want to come with me to work. They were like, we want to stay here and take care of Papa. So that was good. They got to take care of him and do the farm chores that they had to do, during the day while I was gone. But after here, I have to go home, do some farm chores. I'm sure wash the dishes that were left from dinner, and keep the party going to get all my stuff ready for the Blueprint shoot. So I'm super excited for that. I think it's going to be a fabulous project. If you aren't subscribed, check them out, because you remember how Craftsy was like, you would pay for each class that you would sign up for. So then they were bought out by NBC Universal, and now it's like on subscription. What is it, like $15 a month? And there's over 1,000 video courses there on all the things, everything. So anyways, I will talk more about that once my video shoot is over and they let me share details. But I will be taking pictures like on set. Like, oh, Doreen says she pays annually, so I'm sure it's cheaper that way. So they have some different options. But yeah, I will. I'll post my affiliate link in the group on Facebook for anybody to check it out. Those of you that maybe are new and have never heard of the Blueprint, that's something for you to check out. And I have an affiliate code, so that would be cool if people signed up using my thing. Carla says, if you sign up annually, they give you classes that you can keep. She says she thinks she paid like $119 for the year. When I tell you they have over 1,000 classes, cake decorating, cooking, gardening, photography, Photoshop, sewing, quilting, knitting, crochet, embroidery, all kinds of stuff. Okay. Carla says she has the yearly too. So they have all those kind of video courses, which is super fun. Oh, PH says they dropped the annual price to $79.99. Well, I'm gonna see anytime that there's specials and stuff, if people are interested in that, I can include my link there so you can sign up for it. But I'll do that in the Facebook group in case people want to check it out. All right. So that is what I'm working on next. So keep in mind that I will be out of town from the 14th to the 20th. So the whole week, Sunday to like Saturday or something. But I'll be on email. You can email me through the video course also if you have any specific questions. I've been getting some questions in there, like people saying, you know, like this is my bust size, this is this, I'm doing the full bust adjustment, is this okay to do? And that's fine to ask me questions like that. Just know that I may not get back to you immediately or instantly. Sometimes it takes me 3 to 12 days to reply. I'm just so bogged down with emails. But yeah, another thing is if you ask me a question, you just need like a quick answer or something, and you see that I'm not replying right then, feel free to ask in the Facebook group. We know a lot of people stay on their phones, and if somebody has watched the videos, maybe they heard me say the answer and they can chime in. We also have that community on the Facebook group. So it's another reason for you to consider joining the group, even if you're not one of, you know, like have an active account on Facebook. It's still fun to be in that group and see everybody's projects. Some of you have already started making your tank tops and they're looking fabulous. All right, so I am gonna call it a day because I still have work to do here before I head back home and see if the kids are still awake and taking advantage that their dad can't get up off the bed. But stay tuned for Friday because the videos on how to make the fully lined reversible one with French seams is going up. So that's gonna be fun. And if you're looking to sew this weekend, that would be perfect because the videos will be up on Friday and then you'll have the weekend to try your hand at this if you've already made view B. Remember, I said it, start view B, okay? Thank you everybody for tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning. And actually, hold on. I was gonna do a giveaway. So let's do a giveaway for 2 winners. One will be from the people that are watching live now and chatting. And then another one will pick a random member of the online course. You know, these time frames don't always work for everybody because they're in different time zones and stuff. But the prize I'm giving away is going to be 2 yards of the wine-colored rayon challis with the matching 100% polyester thread that I use for garments, okay? So 2 winners will win this. To enter to win, if you're watching live right now, go ahead and swipe up and let me know what is your favorite reason for signing up for my paid online courses. Like, why do you do it? What is your favorite part about it? And then I will go through the list of registered students in the Michelle Tank Top class, and we'll pick another one, and I will list the winners there. So 2 yards of a wine-colored rayon challis with matching thread spool. 2 yards each and a spool each, okay? So we will do that little giveaway here, and I will let you guys in on another little secret. I'm going to be doing a super fun flash sale Friday live chat on my main Facebook page this Friday. I think we're going to do it sometime between 7 and 8 p.m., like maybe 7:15, 7:30. It's going to be something different that I've never done before, and it's going to be super fun. So I will post that on the main Facebook page, but if you're around on Friday between kind of 7:30 and 8 p.m., you'll want to tune into that to see what's going on, okay? Awesome. So I'm going to go through here and after the chat is done, pick a winner from the chat that's on live for the 2 yards of the rayon challis with the spool of thread. Okay. So thank you everybody for tuning in and for telling me why you like my classes. And I will see you all